Week 1 of the NFL season is here. We will preview the Chiefs games every single Monday. And this time around, it is, of course, the season opener. The Chiefs at the Cardinals in the desert, Glendale, Arizona, 3:25 Central, 4:25 Eastern. And Jim Nantz, Tony Romo on the call on CBS. It should be a very good game. It should be a very intriguing game. The Chiefs, by the way, in most books, favored by 4.5 to start the week. Each team has had interesting off seasons. When you look at Kansas City, the trade of Tyreek Hill, Tyrann Mathieu moving on in free agency, a completely revamped defense, including a couple of first-round picks in George Karlaftis and Trent McDuffie, who will both start. And then you look at the offensive side of the ball. The Chiefs have made a lot of moves. Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Sky Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Watson, all new receivers. Ronald Jones in the backfield, Isaiah Pacheco, guys who were not in Kansas City last year. However, who was there? Patrick Mahomes, and he looks to be behind the best offensive line he's ever had. He still has Travis Kelce, Andy Reid on the sideline. The Chiefs, different, but extremely talented. Then you move over to the Cardinals, a little bit of a different story. DeAndre Hopkins still on the team, but suspended for the first 6 games, so he will not play in this game. They did also lose Chandler Jones off the edge, Jordan Hicks at linebacker. And the Cardinals really without a notable addition other than Hollywood Brown, who they traded their first-round pick for on draft night, prying him away from the Baltimore Ravens, reuniting him with Kyler Murray, where they played together at the University of Oklahoma. And that brings us to the most interesting part of the Cardinals offseason, the back-and-forth drama with Murray over the contract. He finally gets it, 5 years, $230.5 million, $160 million guaranteed, and somehow insulted at the end of all this because of the homework clause. It then was taken out. It was a fiasco. The Cardinals have had a very, very turbulent offseason, and they try to quiet a lot of that with a big win over Kansas City. So what should you be watching for in this game? Well, I have 3 keys for Kansas City that I think if the Chiefs handle these 3 keys, they win. Number 1, nothing deep. You cannot let the Cardinals get deep on you in this game. Rondale Moore has very good speed. Hollywood Brown has elite speed. If the Chiefs are going to give up points, it's got to be on 10 and 12 play drives. Make the Cardinals be efficient. Make them stay on schedule. If you can do that, I think the Chiefs have a very good shot. Look, the Cardinals' offensive line is okay. It's not great. Murray will take sacks at times because of his style. He also will extend the play at times, but that's a double-edged sword. I think if you're Kansas City, you feel pretty good if the Cardinals have to go in drips and drabs down the field, much as teams made the Chiefs do second half of last season. Will probably make them try to do it again this year. The second key, and it's obvious, but it's got to be said, limit the penalties and win or at least come out even on the turnover battle. Look, if you're Kansas City, frankly, you're the better team. You should win this game. The reality is the Cardinals are good. The Chiefs are probably great. Nothing else, probably a very good team. And so if you're the Chiefs, can't take those killer penalties that wipe out a big play. Can't have 3 turnovers. That was something that hurt the Chiefs early last year when they were 3-4. They turned the ball over time and time again, cost them multiple games. If the Chiefs don't turn the ball over, I think they are in very good position to go on the road and get their first win of the year. And then lastly, you need to be able to take advantage of an Arizona secondary that is not very good. Budda Baker is a great safety. Jalen Thompson's a good safety. Got an extension last week. Good for him. The reality is, though, the corner group is not great. Trayvon Mullen comes over from the Raiders. Byron Murphy there. It's a group that should be able to be exploited. Kansas City should not have a problem getting open, whether it's zone or man. And the Chiefs have to win those battles, especially when they're presented to them one-on-one. Kansas City should be able to win, whether it's Juju, whether it's Kelce, Valdes-Scantling, Sky Moore. Kansas City's far more talented on the outside than Arizona is on its defensive perimeter. So that's a spot where if you're Andy Reid and you're Patrick Mahomes, you have to win and win a lot. I think if the Chiefs win all 3 or even 2 of those 3 situations, they probably win. Finally, one thing to note in this game, Patrick Mahomes only struggles typically in his career if put under immense pressure. We saw it in Super Bowl 55 famously with the Buccaneers. Hey, that's usually how the Chiefs lose games. So what are you looking for? Well, Marcus Golden had double-digit sacks last year for the Cardinals. Golden's going to have to be very, very good, as is J.J. Watt, who last year when he came over to the Cardinals did not play particularly well by his standards. Certainly Still could make an impact at times, not the player he once was. The Cardinals are going to need to get a pass rush in this game with Watt and with Golden off the edges. If they cannot do that, I do not think that secondary is going to be able to hold up. They're not going to get a ton of interior pressure against the law firm inside of Tooney, Humphrey, and Smith. So I think for Arizona to win, it's got to be a lot of pressure, and they've got to do it without blitzing. If the Cardinals blitz, they're dead in the water. They can't cover on the back end to the extent that you need to bring 5+ rushers. My ultimate prediction for this game, I have Kansas City winning it 35-24. I think the Cardinals hang around. I think it's one of those games that goes back and forth for a little while, and then eventually the Chiefs start pulling away, probably sometime in the third quarter. So for Kansas City to win, limit the turnovers, limit the big plays against, protect on the edges, and then take advantage of some of those matchups in the secondary. I have a Kansas City 35, Arizona 24.